Good evening, friends. This is Rahul Magan here as Group Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting and also a venture capitalist. Today, from our Singapore office, we are going to shoot a very dedicated video covering the private placement programs. Now, in this private placement program, we are choosing a topic which is term deposits can be participate or alternatively fixed deposits can be participate in a private placement program. Now there are many calls, messages, WhatsApp, everything which we are getting almost every second day that I am having the term deposit, I can do the PO, I have proof of funds, I have the BCL, bank confirmation letter, and so on and so forth. But please be note that private placement programs are actually not designed for term deposits or fixed deposit. There is a reason to it. We need to appreciate that if today you come to my platform, right? And you will say, I have a term deposit of 100 million US dollars with the DBS Singapore. I'm not going to take this up. I don't need your 100 million dollars. I need a credit line on that. We need to understand that fixed deposits are not supported by the credit lines. And unfortunately, there is a big name that is coming in such kind of transactions, which is HSBC London. I don't know what HSBC really interested in and what kind of image they are creating in the financial market, because I'm also a banker. But we also need to appreciate that HSBC London is the name which solely comes that I have a term deposit from HSBC London, I can do this, something like that. Please be note that once you do the term deposit with the bank will not give you line of credit. Bank will give you line of credit provided you want. And that line of credit is subject to cost, and that cost for a best AAA rated client is 0.25% to 0.5%. So substantially speaking, if you have $100 million of term deposit and you are taking a line of credit, then a recurring yearly cost would be 0.25% to 0.5%, and that recurring cost is for the top banks, basically AAA rated client, and everyone is not a AAA rated client. For a non-AAA rated client, this cost may fetch up to 1%, 2% on an annual note. So $100 million into 1% is the total cost which you have to bear, and that is the cost of the credit line. Apart from that, there are multiple kind of credit lines which the banks offer. Now the first kind of credit line is when you will get a credit line, and if you say that transfer this credit line to Bill Gates, the bank will transfer to Bill Gates. They will just take the 799 confirmation. So example, you have $100 million of FD, term deposit or fixed deposit, and here there is no LTV. So I hope that you know that I'm not discussing, because if it is a cash, there is no LTV. So there is no haircut which the bank will charge in that. Ideally, bank will put a charge of 1% assuming, so 99%, which is 99 million. Now there are two ways of paying charges. One way of paying charges, you will pay from your own pocket. So $100 million into 1%, which is 1 million US dollar. That 1 million US dollar you will pay from your pocket to the bank. It could be the direct debit from your current account or the saving account to the bank, or you can ask the bank to reduce the line of credit accordingly. Generally, bank prefers both. They are not reluctant, but there are some European banks, without quoting the name in the public domain, they are little reluctant. So what banks do, banks say, boss, you give me 1 million as a cash, basically the bank transfer, or you will give me, you will accept the 99 million of line of credit. That is up to you. Now the question is that there are four kinds of line of credit. Suppose you generate 99 million. Now if you first kind of line of credit, you will give 799 of Mr. Bill Gates, just taking a hypothetical example, and bank will transfer 799, share 799 with Mr. Bill Gates bank, and Mr. Bill Gates, they will clarify that they have the line of credit. Now the entire $99 million will not transfer to Mr. Bill Gates account, rather it would be controlled by his treasury desk. So yours account is with JP Morgan Chase and Mr. Gates account is with Goldman Sachs. Chase will send 799 to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs will confirm that Chase will sell 799 to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs will confirm, yes, Mr. Gates is holding an account with Goldman Sachs, and this $99 million is not transferred from Chase, rather Mr. Gates sitting at GS would be able to use that, or just like a credit and debit card. Just like a credit card where the money is not in your account, money is actually in the bank's account, but you are using that. But in case of debit card, the money is in your account. To remember this carefully. Another kind of line of credit is when you want a control. So what is, sorry, I forgot to tell you that in this line of credit you will have no control. If Mr. Gates want, he can consume 99 million at one go. If he want, he can consume this 99 million in 99 times. So there is no control, there is no control you can have on Mr. Gates. So example sitting today, which is 10:30 Singapore. When the Goldman Sachs would confirm the 799, Chase will share the line of credit with them. And if Mr. Gates wants, his treasury team wants, at 10:45, they can consume the entire amount. You would say, boss, it's just a 15 minutes. What can I do? What they did with that? Second is when you have a control. Now in this there are two types of line of credit. Now one kind of line of credit, once you fix the tranches. What is that tranches? That the trading platform, which I'm just taking an example, still take the same example, you are having an account with Chase, the trading platform having an account with Goldman Sachs. Now this trading platform, you will set up the limit that they cannot use $5 million, more than $5 million per day. Now there are two kind of limits. One is the strict limits. Now strict limit means they cannot use more than $5 million in a day. So if they need to consume $99 million, they need to wait for 20 days, which is a kind of stop loss arrangement. Alternatively, what you can do, you can say they can use more than $5 million provided they need an assent from me. Once again, the assents are of multiple type. It could be SMS, it could be email, it could be vocal. We need to see. Third type of line of credit is when even to use a $1, you need the assent from the party. And this is very rigid line of credit, but most people are using that. So trading platform is based out Switzerland. You are at US. The trading platform needs, if they need $1 from your credit line, they need to take your assent. That is very rigid. But please be note that all three form of credit line, four types of credit line. One is when you have no control. One is you have control. Basically you divide the tranches. It could be vocal, it could be email, it could be phone, that has to be there. And email indemnity also work, fax indemnity also work. Last but not the least, you have, even for $1 you need a written control. It's very rigid kind of line of credit. In all four kind of line of credit, we need to appreciate that cost matters. So to wind up this discussion, if you have the term deposit of $100 million and you are writing to me that I do have a term deposit with HSBC, of course we do your KYC, there is no doubt about that, and that is subject to charges. But before doing the KYC, we also need to appreciate that we need the line of credit. You might have 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion or whatever, but if you don't have the line of credit, there is no use to it. This is a video when we discussed about the line of credit of your cash instrument, your cash. Soon we will discuss your line of credit of your debt instrument. With this, Treasury Consulting, thank you very much. You know my mobile number 919899242978. You also know our fixed income platform www.fixedincome.global. Thank you. Have a wonderful time ahead.